Today, our lie is not too separate from last week's lie of the War of 1812. Today, we're going to be talking about some things to do with Napoleon Bonaparte. First, the very thing that tends to define Napoleon Bonaparte in the cultural sphere of today is that he was a midget. Right? Wrong! He wasn't a midget. In fact, he was of average height in the time that he lived. There seems to be a lot of evidence that corroborates with the idea that this is all basically propaganda. Napoleon was called the Little General by people in Paris, but it was considered a cute nickname, something to honor him and respect him, rather than a derogatory term. British newspapers, other enemies of France picked up this term that had been thrown around in the French cultural sphere and blew it out of proportion and ran it in their own propaganda campaigns. Another thing that could easily have contributed to this misunderstanding of Napoleon's height is the fact that at the time, France, England, and pretty much the whole world had yet to establish a common understanding of what units to measure length by. So France had inches, but their inches were longer than England's inches. So, accommodating for all of this, we find that Napoleon Bonaparte was actually 5'6" something. Yeah, he was 5.5 feet. And that is, even today, relatively normal. So, there you go. He's not a midget, and he wasn't trying to take over Europe because he had some kind of complex about being too short. He may have been taking it over for some other kind of complex, but his height had nothing to do with it. The second thing is, and that is, the sale of the Louisiana territories. Here's how I was taught it, right? I was taught that Thomas Jefferson was just this super wise president, at least in this area. And he had foreseen that America needs to expand westward, and so on and so forth. And he discovered that Napoleon was deep in debt because he was at war with Great Britain and he was at war with Europe, and the war had sunken him into debt, and he needed to get some money fast, and he was willing to cut a deal. There's some half-truths in there and some all-out lies. One, Thomas Jefferson did, in fact, want to push America westward, but he was thinking of doing it incrementally. He wasn't intending to purchase a landmass, basically, as big as it was. Nowhere near as big as it was. Second, Napoleon had not started war yet. At this point, it's when Thomas Jefferson and Congress all decide it would be really good to own New Orleans. Because at this point, America had reached the Mississippi River. Sometimes they were allowed full passage through New Orleans, which is the gateway from the Mississippi into the Gulf of Mexico, but sometimes they weren't allowed access. They were really looking for a way that they could assure themselves the ability to always be able to use the river. Thomas Jefferson sent some guys over, some delegates, the ambassador to France, more specifically, and James Monroe to get New Orleans. Little did they know that Napoleon, having been very disappointed with his soldiers and not being able to retake Haiti, because he tried to retake it and it failed miserably, and he basically considered the piece of land worthless. So he just wanted to get rid of it. He knew he was planning to invade, and he wanted some money to do it. And initially, Congress had allotted them $2 million at the time, but Thomas Jefferson told him, look, if we really need it, so if it's up, you can offer up to $10 million. Which is a lot of money. Instead, they were just going to buy the city. That's it. That's all they were aiming to do. The city of New Orleans. They show up, and King Louis is like, what if you guys just take the whole thing for $15 million? They were trying to work out a deal to get the city, and then all of a sudden they get handed the whole territory, right? So the ambassador says, yes, let's do it. Out, we're going to go back to the president, we're going to tell him all about it. So they go back. Thomas Jefferson is elated, right? And this is kind of where the story ends for us. when I was learning it in the educational system of America. The guys make the deal, they come back, everyone's excited, everyone's happy, Congress is like, yay! Then they send Lewis and Clark out to explore the whole thing. But turns out almost half of Congress were really opposed to the purchase of Louisiana. This is crazy. So they were all on board with New Orleans, or most of them were on board with New Orleans. But the idea of doubling the size of the country to them was a threat to the democracy of America. You had a senator from Massachusetts who was even looking into a secession, and then Congress itself voted to say that the purchase was invalid. And it barely scraped by with a 59-57 victory. So with a margin of 2 votes, the Louisiana purchase remained in American control. Thomas Jefferson liked the idea of taking the whole thing, and he saw the value in it. And in the end, before all of this happened, before the deal went down, he did think that America should keep on expanding westward and keep gaining more land westward, but he certainly wasn't expecting this. I just get tired of the idea that governments have where they try to bury elements of the story. Whether it's through direct propaganda, which would be something like they're releasing films or they have posters up on the wall, or more indirect propaganda like teaching all of the kids a certain thing but omitting certain truths about the scenario. It's dishonest. So I was always told that everyone loved Thomas Jefferson and his decision to purchase Louisiana and all of its land, and everyone was all like, yay! It's simply not how it went down. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. More things to do with France and America. Just remember, Napoleon Bonaparte wasn't a short man. He's normal sized. Have a great day and drink some hot soup.